So guys, we have a set of brand new games coming to Xbox this March to the Xbox Store, plus new additions to Game Pass that you guys are going to really like. I'm Sunny here at Xbox Central, and we start off this list with a relaunch of a game that's so old in Carmen Sandiego. This is a hit detective game making its comeback from the 90s. I know I used to play it as I was a little kid. This one puts you in the shoes of a vigilante super thief who's taken it upon herself to catch other thieves, which means a lot of field work, planning, and thinking like a thief yourself. Your mission is to hunt down a syndicate of criminals called Vile before they pull off another big heist, and you'll be traveling across different places, slingshotting across rooftops, and gliding all over the city while solving tons of unique puzzles. This one is set to join Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S on March 4th. Now our next game is one of my favorite simulation series, but it's making a return with 2 Point Museum. Now as the name kind of gives it away, this one lets you manage and curate all sorts of crazy museums, from prehistoric exhibits with dinos and cavemen to cutting edge space museums and even fully underwater attractions. Besides that, you also get the chance to create your very own massive museums full of like crazy artifacts from the past and even living things of all sorts. The game is packed with lots of content featuring over 200 exhibits plus 300 decorative items, 18 different guest types that visit your sites, and a lot more. This one's definitely going to eat up hundreds of hours if you're into these types of games. This one is set to launch on Xbox on March 4th. Now if you're into mech battles and free games, we have War Robots Frontiers. This one's a free-to-play multiplayer mech battle where you build and customize your very own suit and then take it into battle against players online. Now I've seen some early access gameplay. I gotta say, it looks really intense. It has tons of different weapons, abilities, and unique cosmetics, but the thing that really stood out to me is how the mechs actually feel weighty and realistic instead of just fast-moving human characters in metal suits. Now if this is your thing, you're gonna definitely enjoy this one, especially as I said guys, it's freaking free to play. This one is dropping on Xbox on March 4th. Now our next game is special because it comes from the creators of It Takes Two, and just like that masterpiece, which by the way won Game of the Year back in I think 2021, that's just off the top of my head, this is going to be another super unique co-op game, but this time this one has more action. And this one, you and another player step into the shoes of Mio and Zoe, and once again the whole game is going to be about teamwork. You're both stuck in universes created from your own imaginations, trapped inside your minds. Now you have to work together to figure out a way out. Now much like the game It Takes Two, you're going to be solving co-op puzzles, taking down enemies, and even helping each other across obstacles. I'm a huge fan of It Takes Two, like a massive fan, to the point where I mean it's one of my most memorable experiences, especially since you get to play with someone else, and I expect Split Fiction to be just as good, and I'm going to be personally buying this one when it lands on Xbox on March 6th. Now our next game is for those who really enjoy 2D action platformers. This one's called Morkul Ragast Rage. I think hopefully I pronounced that right. It's kind of like a mix of Hollow Knight and Hades, two of my very favorite indie games out there. Here you play though as a god of death, and you're trying to break free from Ragast, which from what I can tell is like an underground hell or something. And there's going to be a lot of hacking and slashing with a touch of exploration, but here's kind of like the twist. You're not some hero, you're actually the bad guy, and your goal is to carry out your evil plan. And any game that lets me be the bad guy is a game I'm gonna enjoy. The PC demo already looks very promising. It has these beautiful hand-drawn visuals with like some very hilarious dialogue. This one's actually coming out on Xbox pretty soon on March 6th. So the legendary JRPGs from Konami, Suikoden 1 and 2 are finally making a comeback, but this time with HD remasters. The game throws you back into a war that erupts after a seemingly peaceful ceasefire, leading a resistance to save the kingdom. Now these remasters bring back the classic gameplay fans have loved with modern upgrades, including enhanced visuals, new environmental and battle sound effects, and a brand new auto-save feature for a smoother experience, which I absolutely appreciate. Both of these are officially launching on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S on March 6th. We have a massive free-to-play game coming in, Fragpunk, and I'm gonna be honest, I've been keeping a close eye on this one since it was announced. First off, as I said, it's a free-to-play 5v5 though hero shooter, but it's not like anything we've seen before. This one's gonna be very different. You're not just messing around with cosmetics. Fragpunk introduces power-up cards that give you different abilities and skills, literally bending the rules of combat mid-fight. I really think this is exactly kind of what the FPS genre needs right now. There's way too many same old shooters dropping with like a fresh coat of paint, and I am really digging both the fast-paced gameplay and also the stunningly gorgeous visuals that really pop with the sharp colors. You have all this graffiti around as well. This one looks really good, guys. I'm excited, and as I said, it's going to be free on March 6th for Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. We'll be getting our hands on the latest addition to the long-running WWE 2K series this March in WWE 2K25. And just like every year, it's bringing a ton of new content along with all the fan favorite game modes like legendary superstars, iconic wrestling rings, and more. Plus, the game is introducing some new features that give you even more control of your universe mode, introducing some commentary driven promos as well, new cutscenes, branching choices, and multiple outcomes. Personally, I'm a huge WWE fan. I don't typically buy these every year or anything. I buy them like maybe once every 3 years, but I think this is the year I'm going to pick it up, especially with WrestleMania right around the corner that I'm excited for. So this one looks like it's going to be a good one. It's set to arrive on Xbox on March 7th. So we do have MLB The Show 25 releasing onto the Xbox store, but it isn't coming to Game Pass, which, my goodness, that is absolutely awful. If you followed this channel for some time, you might know this has been kind of my most I shouldn't say kind of, it flat out has been my most played Game Pass game over the years. A big reason I've had Game Pass is because of this franchise, and trust me, nobody is more bummed than I am. I haven't really researched why it hasn't come, but it's just been a big bummer. Either way, nonetheless, I've become a big baseball fan over the years, and while I'm bummed, this MLB The Show 25 is still bringing in some good stuff this year. It's got Road to the Show. It'll be a little different as you can start in high school and even go into college before you get drafted onto the pros. There's also going to be new gameplay enhancements that up the realism, though I'll be honest, these tend to be minor and nothing crazy. And finally, a new look to the franchise mode with a revamped free agency and a lot more. I'm bummed about this, but more than likely I will be buying this year just because I am such a big fan. But if you have or own the MLB Show from the previous years, or if it doesn't come off a Game Pass, you're not really missing out too much, so just keep that in mind. This one is set to release on March 18th. Our next game though is 33 Immortals, and I gotta say, this one looks special. I first saw this back in 2024 and I think it looked really promising. Unfortunately, it got pushed to 2025 with no release date, but the good news, it's officially dropping here on March 18th. And for those just hearing about this, 33 Immortals is a stylish MMO where you and 32 other players fight through waves of enemies and massive bosses as part of a huge revolution against God. The whole game feels like a never-ending raid. If you're someone who's liked MMORPGs, or you even want to know what that's kind of like, well, this game's kind of it. This is where teamwork is going to be key to achieving a common goal and working together to take down these encounters. If you love some chaos and co-op action, this is going to be it, and it's going to be a good one, as I said, because it's dropping on Game Pass on March 18th. So we have one of the biggest releases of this year in Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's finally hitting Xbox, and as with every new AC game, we're jumping into a whole new setting with brand new characters. This time though, a little different, in feudal Japan, a dream setting for a lot of people. You'll play as two unlikely allies. I think the name here is Naoi, I'm probably saying that completely wrong, a deadly shinobi assassin who thrives in stealthy combat. Then you have Yasuke, a legendary samurai who prefers brutal head-on fights. The contrast in playstyle sounds amazing, and I can't get over how gorgeous the world looks. It has this traditional Japanese architecture and really stunning landscapes. It may not replace the classic AC games for me, but I do have high hopes for this one. Assassin's Creed Shadows is set to drop on the Xbox store on March 20th. Now, if you're into fighting games and love anime, you're going to want to check out Bleach Rebirth of Souls. This one's a gorgeous action-packed fighter based on the legendary anime series, where you play as your favorite characters and go head-to-head in some intense battles. Now, one of the cool things here is there's a huge roster of fighters, each with their own unique skills and abilities, but unlike most fighting games, this one actually offers a one-hit kill mechanic, and if you time it just right, you can destroy your opponent in a single strike. So I think that's going to be kind of insane and something a little different. We'll be keeping an eye on this one as it lands on Xbox Series X and S on March 21st. So I'm not really a huge JRPG guy, except for like the Yakuza series and the Persona series, which I absolutely love those. But for those of you who live for this genre, you're going to want to check out a game that I cannot pronounce in Atelier Yumia. This one's a gorgeous exploration RPG packed with fast-paced hack-and-slash combat. The game lets you switch between different characters on the fly, using their unique skills to absolutely smash the heck out of enemies in very quick strategic battles. But it's not just all about fighting. There's a fully open world to explore, and you can collect resources, craft items, and even build and furnish entire buildings. This one is set to arrive on Xbox Series X and S on March 21st. So I'm a big fan of zombie games, especially when they're packed with intense action, and Killing Floor 3 is bringing exactly that. For those who are new to the series, it's a co-op action horror game where you and your teammates take on an army of bioengineered monsters called Zeds, basically supercharged zombies, but this time they're stronger, smarter, and even deadlier thanks to improved AI compared to previous games. Luckily, you're also getting some insane firepower to kind of counter that and wipe them out. But you know what's really the most exciting about this franchise is really the bloodshed and gore. Killing Floor 3 is going all in on dismemberment as well. Expect brutal, over-the-top carnage like never before when this game does drop here pretty soon on March 25th on Xbox Series X and S. So we have a brilliant action RPG called The First Berserker Khazan, and it looks seriously catchy. The demo is also out already on PC, and players have been loving the hardcore, gore-filled action and epic battles. But one interesting thing about this is the game actually takes place in the Dungeon Fighter Online universe, but 800 years earlier. And if you've played the demo or seen gameplay, you're going to notice a lot of similarities to Dungeon Fighter Online, especially in the flashy, fast-paced, and highly challenging combat, which gets even better with its gorgeous 3D cel-shaded visuals, giving it really that anime-style touch with making every attack feel extra punchy. This one is set to land on Xbox on March 27th. I'm sure a lot of you guys haven't forgotten about the game Atomfall, because this one is shaping up to be a real contender to Fallout, but unlike Fallout's barren wasteland, Atomfall throws you in a post-apocalyptic world that has a little bit of life to it. Do expect to do all the good survival stuff like scavenging, crafting, bartering, and of course fighting off dangerous enemies, which is not going to be easy because firearms are rare, so the game puts a huge emphasis on hand-to-hand combat. And I love the fact that it's set in a gorgeous yet eerie British countryside packed with detailed rural villages, deep valleys, nuclear bunkers, dark caves, and a lot more. And you know what though? This one is coming directly to Game Pass when it lands on March 27th. If you're looking for a more satisfying and chill experience, you're going to want to check out Sports Renovations. It's basically a stadium cleaning simulator, but trust me, it's way more fun than it sounds. You'll be restoring dirty stadiums after matches, renovating abandoned rooms, tidying up gyms, and even decorating them however you want. There's going to be a huge variety of cleaning tools and upgrades to unlock as you earn money from different jobs. There's more to it. There's actually a story behind it. You're actually working to help your local basketball team reclaim its local glory while trying to convince the city's mayor that your beloved court deserves to host great matches again. Sports Renovations lands on Xbox on March 27th. However, if you're not into cleaning things and maybe that's not your thing and maybe you just want to blow stuff up, you're going to want to check out Instruments of Destruction. It's basically what it sounds like, a game that lets you destroy everything in a ton of different ways using choppers, tanks, bulldozers, and a heck of a lot more stuff. And it's got this like amazing physics-based destruction system that feels so satisfying as you watch buildings crumble down into pieces. It's already gotten a ton of positive reviews, and I'm excited to see this one make its way on Xbox on March 27th. So we just got a shadow drop for a very interesting game on Game Pass in Balatro. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but for those who don't know, this is like the absolute most popular deck building game out there right now, and people are loving this one. This one completely changes how we play poker with super unique roguelike mechanics that make it highly addicting. Trust me, once you get into this, hours will fly past like nothing, and it's a great game to play on the go with like Xbox cloud gaming. This is literally like the perfect game for that. This isn't a game that's just well loved though. I think this game dropped, and this is off the top of my head, it dropped back last year sometime in 2024, and this game already has over 100,000 extremely positive reviews. If that doesn't tell you how well loved this game is and how much of a banger this is for Game Pass, I don't know what will. Again, this is available to play on Game Pass right now. With that, before we leave this video, we have a list of games coming to Game Pass coming in the near future, and while these games are not coming out this March, I still wanted to quickly relay these announcements in case you missed them, and we do have quite a few here Game Pass games. And our first game is a game called To a T. This one just received a release date and it's coming directly on Game Pass on May 28th. It's a 3D narrative driven adventure that's perfect for kids and family. And speaking of games that just got a release date, we also got Descenders next, which is a sequel to a super popular extreme sports game. This one is dropping on Game Pass on April 9th. Then we have Blueprints, an exploration puzzle game with a unique card system. This one's coming April 10th. Then we got the game Buckshot Roulette. This is an intense game of Russian roulette but with shotguns. This one's getting ported to Xbox and coming out sometime in Game Pass in 2025. Our next game is Echo Weaver, which is a unique Metroidvania with mind-bending time loop mechanics. Mechanics. This one's announced to join Game Pass sometime later this year. Then there's a huge one here in Moonlighter 2. This is an action RPG with roguelike elements where you play as an adventurer and shop owner. I played the crap out of the first one and beat that one. This one is set to join Game Pass in 2025. I'm super excited for that one. Another huge game that's coming to Game Pass, we'll talk more in another video, is Revenge of the Savage Planet. This has also been announced to join Game Pass on May 8th. Then we have the game Tanuki Pond Summer. This is another cozy game that's joining Game Pass sometime in 2025. And our final game is, speaking of cozy games, is a game called Tempopo. This one is set to join Game Pass as a day one release on April 17th.